Greetings and peace and love. My name is Ram Hotep, broadcasting on behalf of the number 13, SignsAstrology.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. On this particular episode, I'm going to talk about a few things. I'm going to talk about a collage of things. I want to take a few different concepts and put them together in this particular video. This is going to be a video more so focused on current events, current affairs, things that are going on right now. You have a lot of things that look like they're unrelated that we're seeing on television, on the media and things of that nature, and on the internet. A lot of different stories that seem to be unrelated. However, if you got that open third eye, and you're not eating a bunch of dairy and a bunch of cow snot, which is milk. You call it milk, I call it cow snot, which is nothing but mucus pretty much. As long as you're not clogging your pineal gland up with a lot of that and calcifying your pineal gland up with a lot of that dairy and things like that, you're going to have this open third eye. You're going to be able to see things that look unrelated, and you're going to be able to connect them. In the occult, we take different concepts and different symbols, and we put them together and we paint a picture with these different symbols. In the occult, the language is symbology. This is what we deal with. Everything is based on symbols, whether it's hand signs or whether it's drawn out symbols or whether it's symbols that are done by tone. In the occult, everything is done based upon symbols. So that's the first thing I want to point out. Now, you have different stories that are going on right now in the news and in the media. You have they're talking a little bit about zombieism. Some people are getting that information. It's starting to come out now. They're starting to leak slowly but surely. They're starting to leak out more information about these zombies. But then you're hearing a lot about the government shutdown. And you're hearing a lot about money and currency and finance and things of that nature. So what I'm going to do on this particular segment is just kind of like bring all of these different stories together to help you to see what's really going on. And I'm going to start from the top. Now, when I was talking about a few videos back, I talked about the government shutdown, and I talked about how it was a group of ETs that was behind this whole government shutdown. Now, when I did that video, when I actually recorded that video, that was before the government shutdown, keep in mind. Like when I did that video, the government was not even shut down yet. The government shortly shut down a couple of days later. I'm pointing that out because the ETs that I'm in communication with, you can call it whatever you want to call it and say it's freaky and it's weird, but they give me information like way before, a lot of times, sometimes like way before things happen or slightly before things happen. And lately they're starting to show me more things pertaining to economics. This is what they're showing me, and they're really showing me the problem that humanity really has. Like I'm really getting to the bottom of this thing now, as far as like my communications and my channels with these particular ETs or whatever you want to call them. Some people might say they're demons. I don't really care what you call them. You know what I'm saying? Like the bottom line is that I know I'm in contact with a force that's very intelligent because, I'm able to just predict things and see things. And what they're showing me now is that many of you hear about this whole thing, about this debt ceiling thing. And many of you, like a lot of people feel like they should raise the debt ceiling because they don't want to see the world go into chaos, and people go crazy and melt down. And then you got another group of people that feel like the debt ceiling shouldn't be raised. And they feel like basically that everybody should be responsible based on the money that they actually have versus using borrowed money. Now, when you understand the debt ceiling, first thing I want to point out here is that the debt ceiling pretty much is based on, it's almost like saying like, okay, say for instance, you have a set of bills and your bills may come up to $1,000 for the month, and you don't have the $1,000 that month. So you want to go get this credit card, and basically you want to get you a credit card with $1,000 limit, and you want to swipe this credit card and basically put it on this credit card and pretty much pay for it later and make the minimum payments because you feel like you're going to eventually make some money and you're going to be able to pay this thing off. So that's really like when you talk about like as far as raising the debt ceiling, I'm trying to help people to understand what this is and what's really going on. That's really what's going on. Essentially, is that you're basically asking to be put into more debt, and that's not going to fix the problem. That's like putting a band-aid over something versus getting you some herbs and really healing it. You know, you can take medicine and drugs and things of that nature, but that's not going to really solve the problem. To actually solve the problem, you have to heal the problem. You have to remedy the problem. You have to get rid of the dis-ease. And the dis-ease right now is that we have a group of people, especially here in America, that are addicted to debt. And they're basically like debt babies, or like crack babies, or crackheads, or debt heads. And you could talk about you got people, they laugh at drug addicts and things of that nature, but what about these people that are addicted to materialism and addicted to debt? You have no understanding and no concept of money. You just want money because you want to keep your world going and keep putting gas into your Lexus, keep putting gas into your SUV. So your whole concept of economics is totally warped, totally thrown off or whatever. So we have a group of people like that. And the reason why it's this big argument about shutting down the government and everybody's going back and forth is because they know that everybody's kind of scared, because they don't know what's going to happen when the American people are cut off from debt, from being able to borrow monies that they don't have. So that's one level to the government shutdown or whatever. You have a group of people that are pretty much addicted to spending money that they don't have, and essentially this money, and the thing about American people is like we don't really want to work. Like we don't want to labor our way out of a situation. We want to just borrow. See, American people like to play games and then cheat. See, that's the thing about America or whatever, is that America is basically, we always talk about you got to play the game, you got to play the game, but the only way to win the game in America is to cheat. And the thing is now is that the higher up these ETs that I'm going to talk about in a minute, these higher up ETs are not with that whole cheating thing anymore. They want to eliminate the whole cheating factor and the manipulation factor for many reasons. I mean, you may not agree with them, you may agree with them, and you may not agree with them, but there's many reasons why they want to do this. But the thing is that you want to cheat. The American people want to cheat. So that's the first thing. The reason why the American dream and to really make it in America, it was really based on cheating. Nobody got what they got like from hard work and sweat and tears and all of that, because once America got taken off of the gold standard, you're dealing with what's called fiat money. Many of you have already heard me talk about this millions of times. Money that has nothing backing it. So now we've reached a limit. Can't go any further. And you have a group of people now that are mad. So, you know what I'm saying? And they're turning into zombies. And they're turning them into zombies based upon programming them and scaring them with this whole, if they don't raise the debt ceiling, the government's going to shut down. You're not going to get your payments. You're not going to get your benefits. You're not going to get your insurance. You're not going to get these things that you want. Your unemployment. You're not going to get Social Security. You're not going to get your WIC. So they're getting people, they're playing a manipulation game and getting you scared and making you function on fear paradigm. And the fear aspect is located below the navel. See, fear comes from below the navel. So when you fear something, you're going to go into what's called an instinct mode. And you're going to see humans turn into animals. And they're going to want to go hunt people down that they know, people that do have money, and they're going to go look for people that they can extort and things of that nature. And they're going to roll in gangs. And they're going to be like zombies. You're going to see a pack of zombies, and they're going to be coming at somebody that's not a zombie, that hasn't been affected, so that they can get their blood, so they can survive and sustain themselves, because they don't know a zombie is basically someone that doesn't function on the intellect. They function on the instinct, and they don't know of another way to survive except to, in this case, to extort and exploit people. However, those are the people at the top that are extorting and exploiting people. The people at the bottom and the people that I'm talking about are what you would call the so-called human beings, which according to the Black's Law Dictionary, you're a monster. If you look it up, if you're a human being, you really are essentially calling yourself a monster or whatever. And that's a whole nother story. And they know these things. They know that the human being is a monster, because the type of human being you are right now, you're very primitive and you need government to survive. It's basically, like I said, we're debt babies. So this is going to create a group of zombies. So if you're wondering why, I mean, a lot of y'all know if you've been seeing this, but if you go to your major cities, you're going to see they have zombie intelligence. You know, like you got CIA, FBI, things of that nature. Well, yeah, they have intelligence agency now for zombies, and they're getting paid money because they're getting ready to exterminate a group of people that they know are going to be functioning like zombies. Once they get cut off of that, they're going to go into animal mode and hunt mode. So that's what's going on right now, whatever, like as far as on the zombie level. And people are wondering, well, why are these aliens causing all this chaos or whatever? Because you're saying aliens are behind the whole government shutdown, essentially, right, Ram Hotep? So why are these aliens causing all this chaos and mischief? Shouldn't we just rid these aliens out of our lives and not even deal with these aliens? And it's not that easy, because the way I would answer that is that it's not that easy, because everything that we know in our society, our whole culture, comes from ETs. I mean, it's unfortunate, but I mean, it is what it is or whatever. So these ETs were to leave us, it would be like parents leaving their children at home for 4 weeks and just leaving them and letting them take care of themselves. I mean, you know, pretty much everything would probably fall apart. I mean, for the most part, by the time the parents got back, the children wouldn't know about paying bills. They wouldn't know to pay a mortgage because they don't know what a mortgage is. So they don't know how to pay a mortgage because they don't know what it is. So that's what it would be like, really, like if humans ridded themselves from ET influence or whatever. I'm not saying that we're not capable. Not saying that we're not capable, but however, we're not at that level. We're not at that point. Now, as far as what's going on with the government shutdown is that every ET group is not necessarily against humans. And every ET group doesn't look at human beings like monsters. The ET group actually that looks at human beings more so like monsters are really more so the ET groups that were responsible in creating us. They don't trust us because they have an attachment to us, and they feel as though we're not going to really be able to graduate. But you do have a group of ETs that they don't get involved. However, they observe and they watch humans, and a lot of times they may choose one particular human or choose a group of humans. And what they will do is that they'll give them like supreme intelligence, supreme knowledge, like through a series of channels. They'll give them supreme information, and they'll kind of make that human, that one human or that group of humans that they choose, kind of like messengers to the other humans. And pretty much what these messengers do is that they go out and they teach, they try to uplift and raise up the consciousness and the intellect of human beings. Because really, like what the aliens are showing me and what I'm seeing as far as from this intelligence that I'm channeling, I'm dealing with, is that the new currency is coming, or the new currency is actually already here. And the thing is that you have a group of people that don't want to accept the new currency, and then you have a group of people that do want to accept the new currency. And these higher up ETs that want to see human beings make it, they're giving the group of humans that want to rule this planet with more intellect, with more reason, and with more higher knowledge and information, they're giving them a chance to rule in government. The human beings that do believe in morals and doing things fairly and justly and not cheating. Because remember earlier I was talking about how basically you play the game to cheat. Like in America or whatever, to get the American dream and to really fulfill it, you have to be a cheater. You have to be scandalous to make it. However, now that's changing because we're going into the shift and the new energy. And these new ETs, or these higher ETs, these elder ETs that are helping the benevolent humans to try to make it out, are giving, it's kind of like giving us a bone or whatever. So you notice that the chairman of the Fed is changing over. And it's going to be a woman. You know what I'm saying? So we went from like Ben Bernanke and that energy, we're going into like this new energy or whatever, like a feminine, more balanced energy, because males are greedy. You see, and as this new government comes in, as this new energy comes in, you're going to start to see more of a feminine influence in government. You'll have males in government, but you're going to start to see more of a feminine based influence or whatever that's going to like infiltrate into government or whatever. And this is going to actually bring in a new type of energy, and an old energy has to go out. So what's going on right now is that you're seeing the old reptilian type of energy that wants to manipulate people, trick people, control people by force, and extort people. You're seeing that energy going out. Those type of things don't work anymore. You can't really fight a war and win that way anymore. So that whole it's really actually a group of beings that are called the Anakites. They're called the Anakites, and they're the ones that are responsible for that type of energy being dominant in the past or whatever. That whole aggressive, do things by force and get things by force. So that's going out. So now what's happening is that we have to get a new currency because the old way is not working anymore. The old currency is not working anymore. And what these aliens want to do, and what they want to do is that they want to graduate us up to a higher level of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. They want to see humanity as a whole now. This is not just one human or two humans, but as a whole function to where there's no greed present, to where it's all about progress. You see, we really haven't got to the point that we're not progressing on this planet. And that's where I'm getting at here on this video, is that we kind of are just in more of a competition mode. And that's what's going on right now. We compete against each other. Everything as far as the materialism, everything based on materialism right now is based on competition. Like, oh, I'm going to get this because that person doesn't have it. Or I got to go get the new iPhone because my friend doesn't have it. Versus getting the new iPhone because it's going to help you on your journey. It's going to help you to progress. So that's what's going on right now, is that humans, that we haven't grasped progress. We're still functioning like the monster. And the monster wants to compete, scare, extort someone to get what it wants. So you have those two mentalities right now, and they're kind of like bumping heads. So that's causing a war. And we already know that the war, the group that's more so functioning off intellect, higher reason, spirituality, that's going to be the group that's going to win the war. See, the new energy that we're going into with this age of Aquarius, the new currency is going to be based on knowledge. That's right. Like, it's going to be like in the past or whatever, we talked about how the dollar is not backed by anything. And the reason why the dollar is sinking right now is because it doesn't have anything as far as resources backing it, because people done stole the gold a long time ago. They done took all the gold out of Fort Knox. That happened a long time ago. I mean, that gold is gone. So it's really nothing backing the dollar or whatever. However, you got this new currency coming that was put together by ETs, and it's here. I'm not making this stuff up, and it's based on knowledge. The only way to get this currency is based on what you know. So you can't really buy your way no more. So you can't just have a lot, like a person with $1 million is not going to be the king anymore. See, back in the day, it was like, well, if you got money, like cash is king. I know many of you have heard that. Cash is king. Cash is king. If you got cash money, you king. That's going out. That's going out. And what's happening is that's being replaced because of the fact that you have a group of ETs that they want to get rid of competition. They want to get rid of one person having more and another person having less. And the way to do that is that you make everybody earn their way through what they know. And the more you know, the more energy or currency you're going to get. So we're going into the information age. And it's already going on right now. I mean, you can go on the internet and you can look up, and there's many ways to make money online. And essentially, when you make money online, you're making money off of bits, off of bytes, or whatever. So essentially, with this new currency, you're not going to be able to, what backs it is what you know. In order for you to extract it and to get this currency, you're going to have knowledge. It's not going to be like you just cash in this and you get that. You're not going to be able to just show up at a job and do things that a robot can do and be able to make money in this new economy. So what you know is going to be very important. It's going to be like right now is the time to really start to understand, like, words that you don't really know. You need to define them and look them up, because language is key in this new economy. Like, what you know, like when we talk about having a currency based on knowledge, every economy or every social circle has a language to it. Like, for instance, if I'm a doctor, I may speak one way. Like, doctors have a secret language that they speak. If I'm a lawyer, I may speak another way, because lawyers have a secret language and a way that they speak. So what you know is essentially what's going to get you and advance you to the next level and to help you to progress. And the thing is that your mentality on what you do with material things is going to have to change. It's going to have to change with this new energy, because what we do with material things right now is based on gratifying the lower nature, and that's feeding zombieism. And in order to make it in this new energy, you're not going to be able to be a zombie. That's the thing. Like, we're not going to be able to even live on this planet. Like, pretty much what I'm saying here is that at first, being like spiritual and being disciplined and like meditating and getting knowledge and reading books and studying and basically living more of a spiritual yogi type of life was kind of looked at as like, oh, who needs to live like that? You don't really got to live like that. That was the minority at one point, right? But what's happening now is that type of lifestyle is going to be your success, like to the point where people that can live like that will be the billionaires. Like if you can actually master living a disciplined lifestyle where you work hard, invest your money correctly, take care of your family, you're going to be able to make $1 billion that way. Versus in the past, it was based on the most greediest person, the most cutthroat person, the person who was willing to cheat and stab somebody in the back. That person was rewarded. But see, what happened is that, well, us Americans kind of lost control over our economy. And if you study the Chinese, they own a lot of the bonds and things of that nature in this economy. And if you study their culture, you'll see how they got to that point. The Chinese really didn't use a lot of debt or leverage to get where they got. They got where they got off of hard work and off of energy. So they're going to be the premier group that these ETs work with when it comes to using this new currency. And when it comes to developing, I should say, not using, but when it comes to developing this new currency, the ETs are going to want to work with the Chinese more so than any other group, because the Chinese understand hard work pays off versus going out and cheating and breaking the law to get something. So you got a lot of people that are angry right now because really what the government shutdown is really saying is that we can't borrow money anymore. We can't cheat to make it anymore. In this economy, we have to do things correctly. And a lot of people don't want to change that, and they don't like that. But the thing is, as a young person, if you're watching, especially as a young person, you should question that, because the people that don't want to change that, what they really want to do is that they want to pass it off onto the next generation. And they want to leave like the debt problem to the next generation and just let the next generation deal with it. So if we don't deal with it now, it's kind of like a sacrifice. See, people always want to make blood sacrifices and make easy sacrifices to make easy money, but you won't sacrifice 10 years of hard work to make $1 million, but you'll sacrifice and use a pistol and go kill someone to try to go make $1 million, or you'll sacrifice and go sell some dope to try to make $1 million or whatever. So what I'm saying here is that the paradigm is changing. What you know what I'm saying, is going to become key. And even if you're in the underworld, in the black market, don't get it twisted. There's a dark side to this too, like to this whole shift or whatever, because since the government is shut down now, it's going to create more underworld situations that are going to go down or whatever. The underworld is going to become very dominant and very powerful because there is no government. But even the underworld is going to depend on technology and what and things of that nature. So the ETs, essentially what they want to see humans do, just to make it all make sense and to bring it together, because they only have a certain amount of time, is that they want to see humans be able to live on this planet and not exploit and extort the planet. Not to live on this planet basically and to become like a tick and to take from the planet. And that's what's happening right now. Like this whole the whole economy and the way it's set up right now is set up to extort Mother Nature. When you take too much oil out of the ground, it's like taking blood. I mean, many of you have heard me talk about this before. Like when you take too much oil out of the ground, you're taking blood from the planet. So if you take too much blood from someone, what's going to happen? Their heart is going to stop. Like they're going to die, because then you need blood. That's one of the key ingredients of life to keep life going, is to make sure that you have good blood and clean blood. So we're raping Mother Nature, exploiting her, extorting her, taking all of her resources and things like that. And we're saying, well, you need gold to back your currency. We're using Mother Nature's resources to fuel our economy when we don't need to do that. What I'm saying is that the human resource should be what backs the currency. Your work, your labor, what you put in. So these ETs, what they did is that they created a currency based on that, based on the labor. And they're ready to introduce it. And then you look at a lot of people saying, well, that's the New World Order. I mean, I don't know what you want to call it. It is going to be a New World Order. It's going to be a new way of running the world. So I guess you could say that is a New World Order. But the new currency is here. And a lot of people are battling it because we're caught up on materialism. We think, well, you need gold or something to back it. But you don't. Because if you're dealing with the information age, you're dealing with knowledge. So you're going to get paid based on what you know. You'll be able to barter with this particular currency and get the things that you need or whatever. Like pretty much, like say for instance, you get paid X amount of bytes for knowing equation based on algebra or calculus or whatever, and you were able to know this equation, you were able to teach it to a group of people, and you were paid a certain amount of bytes for that. You can go exchange that and get the things that you need so that you can build and go to the next level with what you do. So what's going to happen is that the people that are going to make it are going to be people that are more independent natured, people that are very intellectual, people that are very disciplined, people that are very spiritual. Like, these are going to be the key ingredients. See, I didn't know it was even going to be like this. I never knew the world would get to a point where you actually had to be spiritual to make it. But that's what's really actually happened on this planet. And it's because Mother Earth is alive. Like, she's a living, intelligent entity, and you can't cheat her. See, that's the thing. Like, you could cheat society, you could cheat economics, and you could find loopholes in the economy to not pay a certain amount of taxes and all that type of stuff. But you can't cheat Mother Nature, and that's what's happening. The government shutting down because we've been cheating Mother Nature for so long that she's just not going to have it anymore. And those people that are angry, what I want to say to you is that if you angry because the government shut down, you need to question yourself. You really do. Because, I mean, like I said, I'm not necessarily for or against the government being shut down, but I'm not going to sit here and be angry at something that is easily fixable, because the government was created for the people and by the people. So the people shut the government down. So why should you be angry about something like that and take that? I don't say, well, this group of people shut the government down. Because you got a group of people that really, some of them are even blaming like the Moors for shutting the government down. And they're saying, well, the Moors shut the government down, so I don't even like the Moors no more. You don't even know what a Moor is. You don't even know what a Moor is. And then for you to turn around and say that we shut the government down, the things of this nature, like, you don't even understand anything about Moorish science, anything about that whole paradigm. If you understood anything about Moorish science, you would know that no matter what, we are always part and parcel of the government. And as a Moor, we are the government. We believe in Islam as an acronym, not Islam as a religion, which is I, self, law, and master. ISLAM, Islam. I, self, law, and master, which means that the government's never shut down because you're still here. And that's the thing, like, you are a part of the people, and you enforce the government. You create the government. And the reason why the government is even shut down is because of the fact that you have a group of people that don't understand government, and they're allowing another group of people to rule over them and to teach them what government is or isn't. What really happened is that your privileges are just going away. The government is still here. It's just that you don't have the privileges that you used to have, and that was extra stuff. That's not essential in running the government. You don't have to get unemployment. Back in the 1700s and during the Paul Revere days, and back in the days, you know, when the Wachita Moors was thriving or whatever, we didn't get food stamps and things of that nature. We had to live off our own energy, off of our own intellect, off of our own creativity, off of our own culture. Culture means to work the land. So many of you have heard me say this before, but I have to continue to say it. Like, don't get caught up into the hype and the fear and get caught up into these lower base emotions that they're getting us into by saying, well, the government shut down and things of that nature. Know that this is nothing but an occult ritual. This is nothing but an occult ritual by a group of ETs. Like I said, their goal is to get humanity off of the competition greedy mode so that we can stop destroying the planet, because we need this stuff here. They need to graduate humans up to the next level. Those particular humans that don't make it, like I said, they already have an intelligence squad out there that's gonna 86 you. Pretty much, they're gonna murk you, because if you're gonna continue to live like a beast and go around and try to hunt other people and steal from them so that you can continue to keep your bullshit going on or whatever, they're not gonna. They already have a place for you for that. They've already have a plan. They planned that out. This is why they brought 2 million caskets into Atlanta, Georgia, back in 2009. Don't you think they planned that out? They already knew that was going to happen or whatever. And you can't fault anybody for what's going on with the government but yourself, because anybody that borrowed money and lived off of fiat currency and lived off of compounding interest is guilty. Because, like, my teacher taught me, one of my teachers said that debt is slavery. So anytime you borrow money, you put yourself into a form of slavery. And we know our whole economy is based on debt. So just think about it when you watch the news and things like that, and don't get caught up in the hype or whatever. When you hear people outside saying, well, you're not going to get your WIC check or whatever, create a way. Create another source of income, another way to get your baby what she or he needs to make it. Have to be creative. Have to get more culture. Like, the reason why this is happening to America is because America doesn't have a culture. America's culture is cheating, stealing, getting over on people to make it. And that goes against universal law. That just doesn't work, because you're violating, our whole culture is actually set up to violate free will. And they know this. The group of reptilians that are controlling most of these people know this. And they know that's why we keep coming back to this planet. But what's happening, they even telling them, the council's even telling that group of reptilians that they got to come back now and even teach people a higher way, because we're running out of space here on this planet as far as reincarnation time. That's a whole nother thing. Like, we're not going to get too many chances to come back to this planet and do it again or do it right. Like, many people think that they could just come back another time and do it right, and they're going to be a demon in this life, and strictly a lower base entity. We all have a demon, of course, attached to us, and we all have an angel. I realize that. But some people decide to be strictly a lower base demon, demonic entity, and that's how they're going to make it, and pillage and things of that nature. And you think that you're going to get another time to come back or another earth to come back to, so you're going to just continue to do this. You can get stuck in that reality, so that when you transform and switch over and go into another realm, you're going to be still playing out that energy of getting over on people and can't sleep at night and can't eat because you know what I'm saying, because you done cheated somebody and you owed this person money, and the mafia looking for you on that end because you've been fucking with the wrong person. See, all of that creates negative karma that you carry over with you into that realm, and you continue to play that stuff out in that realm. But what happens is that if you don't have another body to cycle back into to try to rectify some of that karma, you get stuck in that reality for a long time. And that's not, I know many people say, well, that's religion, Ram Hotep. You basically teaching like it's heaven or hell. It's not really. Heaven and hell is a mentality, a thought form. And when you transform over, your thoughts were either in bliss and blissful thoughts. You were either at peace. That's why they say rest in peace, RIP, because we hope the soul rests in peace. You were either at peace during this time when you transferred over, or you were in a state of negativity, in a state of being a demon. You felt demonic, and if you get stuck in that state, you stay stuck in that mentality. So how you felt in the body, you continue to carry and play that out in the soul plane. We call it the soul plane or the astral realm. You continue to play that out on the soul plane or the astral realm. So it's all about what you know, and then being able to remember. So remember your covenant when you incarnated here, your contract, what you said you were going to do. One of the main things you promised is that you wouldn't violate anyone's free will in your experience here. This is how you get out of here being able to sleep at night and being able to look at yourself in the mirror before you go to bed every day, is that knowing that you didn't cheat on someone or do something or do somebody wrong or whatever. And then after that, you have your discipline. You have to be disciplined. If you want to get to where you're going in this new economy, you're going to have to be creative. You know what I'm saying? You got to think outside the box. You're going to have to know about numerology and astrology, because the old paradigm doesn't work anymore. You're going to have to do things during the proper hours versus just doing things randomly. So it's a lot that needs to be accepted. That's why I put up this channel, because I knew that it was another way for people to live, another culture that people can live by, and it was based on as above so below, and it was based on astrology, and that's why I put up this channel. But I never knew that this would become the way that people would become successful. Like, if you don't embrace this type of way, you're not going to ever make it, because you're not going to have any good karma for yourself as long as you continue to do other people wrong. And this is not to scare anyone. This is not, like I said, religious or to be preachy. This is really what's going on right now, people. If you notice, everything is going to so-called HELL for a lot of people right now. And the only way out of that is to use your intelligence, work harder, and do better. So that was my random segment for today. Hope this helped. Hope you got something out this video. And I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. Until we meet again, I'll leave you all in love and light.